voice. She really does.
I mean, you don't like her robot voice?
Recording in progress. I mean, she could just be recording. No.
In progress.
Recording in progress.
Well, our recording is in progress. Back with another episode of the In Transition podcast. Korey's laughing her ass off because she's about to get grilled by Lauren. Not grilled. We're just going to have a conversation.
Nervous laughter.
We're going to continue on from what we've been doing and getting to know each other as you get to know us.
Yes.
This is the fun of doing podcasts and doing this type of format, is like we get to learn about each other, our guests, and get to see all the intersections we have.
But I think the cool thing about that is that in doing that, in learning about our guests and learning about one another, it just makes the connection that much, I was going to say that much more fire, but that's so grammatically incorrect. But it does. It's just a deeper connection. I was trying not to say deeper connection because I didn't really want to sound all eat, pray, love. But it does, no offense to the movie, even though I've never seen it. I'm sure people will be judging me for my just saying that. I've never seen Eat, Pray, Love. It's fine.
No judgment in this space.
It's fine. I'll try to watch it.
No judgment.
One day.
Korey's on the hot seat for this one. Hot seat, Korey. But before we get to what we're going to talk about with Korey and her transition, Korey, share with us a little bit about who Korey is and how you've gotten to this point.
So I'm a Taurus. I enjoy long walks on the beach. My earth sign is fire. No, I'm kidding.
Well, you are fire, so that would make sense.
So yeah, I'm a life coach. I've been a life coach, a certified life coach for about 5 years. Prior to that, I also owned a online business management company. I still kind of dabble in it every once in a while. I switched to being a life coach because I literally believe that dash in between the date of your birth and the date of your death, that's legitimately your legacy. And I just didn't want to be known as a person that like crunched numbers or read really great due diligence reports for real estate investors or anything. I firmly believe that we are here for only a space and time, and the reason as to why we're here isn't revealed to us easily, but when it's revealed to you, you need to go do whatever it is that you're being called to do. And I love coaching women. I love coaching kids. I keep trying to figure out a really cool way to keep coaching kids because I love being a kid myself. So yeah,
awesome.
I'm here.
She's here and making an impact in kids' lives, women's lives, leaving your legacy.
Yep. It's that dash mark.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, we're big on that here, right? What you do with your life and the legacy you leave, whether you think about that or not, which I think most of us do, even if we don't admit it.
Yeah.
It's your life's work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Korey's going to talk to us about a pretty fun topic tonight. I'm excited to hear about this because I know some people in this boat. And Korey's just one of them, but I'm really excited to hear everything behind the reason that Korey made an intentional transition from dating to being single.
For a TBD date.
TBD date.
I don't know how long this singleness is going to last. Or when I'm going to dip my toes back in the dating pool. I have friends that ask me if I'm going to do that. And I think one of my really close friends, Nicole, asked me via text one night. I love Nicole. Nicole and I have been friends since high school. And Nicole, I'm sure she will not mind if I say this. Nicole, I remember one time Nicole and I had lunch together. This was soon after she got married. She got married late in life. And she was like, don't you just like want to find your person? And don't you just like want to, just like all Nicole has ever wanted to be is a mom, is a wife and a mom. And that woman slays it every day as a wife and a mom. I watched her a couple of weeks ago. I just took a day and just hung out with her and her kids. And she's got to be one of the best moms I've ever seen on the planet. That's her job. She loves it. And I firmly believe that being a wife and a mom, that's a job. you know. Anybody that can throw in a full-time actual like W-2 job to do that, you have massive props from me. Absolutely. But I just remember Nicole telling me once all she wanted to be was a wife and mom. And we were sitting at lunch one day and she's like, don't you just want to be a wife and mom? And just I'm like, she goes, isn't that your dream? What was your dream as a child? I'm like, world domination. That's pretty much what I wanted in life. And she just laughed, but she also knew I was low-key serious about it. But Nicole is the one that she always talks about how she's happy. She is happy as a pig in a new pen of mud. And she wants everybody to be as happy as she is in the way. And I think in some ways that she is happy being married, having that family life. So she texted me a while back and she's like, I think this is the year you're going to find your person. I think this is it. And I was like, every once in a while I thought about it. I've thought about it a couple of times, like maybe I should get back out there and just put my toes back in the dating pool. And she goes, oh my God, yes. And I'm like, yeah, but then I just had a bowl of soup and I was fine. And then she was like, oh, well, what type of soup was it? I'm like, it was chicken gnocchi and it was great. I made the decision to be intentionally single for a lot of reasons. I think that when in the past, like you have shared on a previous episode, everybody loves a bad boy, and you consciously know that they're bad for you. But I think we get so caught up in the excitement and the thrill of the chase, so to speak, and but I can change him, he's going to change for me. No, he's not. He's not going to change he's not going to change for his own mama. So why is he going to change for you,
Ladies, if you're thinking you're going to change a man,
you're not.
Or anyone for that matter, because we don't discriminate here. Like, even if men aren't your jam, if we think we can change anyone,
move on. Just go eat some soup. Just go have a bowl of soup.
Go have a bowl of soup, because
chicken gnocchi, roused
and that's not our job.
Yeah. And I had dated guys that I would date the guys that were unattainable. Not unattainable in the sense that they were married, but just they were emotionally unavailable. They were emotionally unattainable. But I would eat up whatever they were saying like a dog with a big old T-bone steak. I just would. But I think what happened with me, what the catalyst to that was. So last summer-ish. Yeah, summer. Last summer, I was diagnosed with ADHD. At age 47, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And it kind of put me in a tailspin. Just like, well, are you telling me that I could have fixed this years ago? Not fixed it, but I could have managed it. And I could have made up all the time I lost, all the flatting around trying to figure out what I wanted to do and where I wanted to do it and just all that stuff. I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of resentment. And so I felt like there was something in me that's like, you know what? Go back to something that's familiar where you feel like you can be yourself. So for some reason, somebody in my head said, you should get back together with your ex. And I remember one of my best friends, Noni, being like, they're an ex for a reason, And I'm like, no, it's fine. We'll be fine. We just need to take a break. I had convinced myself that this person and I, we needed to get back together. We were just better together and blah, blah, blah. And so we had maintained communication since our breakup. And the breakup was probably it had been a while. I would say within the last 4 years, maybe. And I remember I was sitting at one of the local bakery cafes I sometimes go sit and work in. And I had my AirPods in and we were FaceTiming and the sound went out. And so I hung up. And so I texted and I'm like, I think you and I should get back together.
Just like that?
Oh yeah. Dude, let's just say it. Like, just,
okay.
I'm like, I really think you and I should get back together. I think that would be a good thing for us. And what I remember the text his response, I will never forget. I would really, really like that more than anything in the world. But, I just started seeing somebody, but I'm going to keep you, but I'd like to keep talking to you in case it doesn't work out.
Ooh.
And I just remember looking at my phone like, what the fuck?
I'm gonna keep you on the back burner.
And the first thing I literally thought of was like, nobody puts Korey in the corner. What is this? It's like, what? And then I started remembering. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if he wanted to be with you, is there like if you just started dating someone new?
It's new. So are you committed? Are you exclusive? Anyway,
I want to see what my options are.
it's like, I'm gonna test drive a few cars. Let me just see what's going on. But I remember looking at the text message, and first it was, what the fuck? And then it was, this motherfucker. And then it was, wait a minute. So when we were actually dating, when we were in a relationship, he had a huge issue with my being friends with a really good male friend of mine. We had been friends forever. Like, he's literally my brother from another mother. I love him to death. I love his wife to death. I love their kids to death. Like, that's family to me. And my then boyfriend had a huge issue with the fact that I went to lunch with this man for his birthday. We had been doing it for 20 years. Everybody knew we did that. Everybody knows we have a very tight brother-sister relationship. My then boyfriend had a problem with me maintaining friendships with men. And my response was, you don't trust me? No, I don't trust them. Well, but you're not sleeping with them. You're not in a relationship with them. You're in the relationship with me. And so then it was changed to, I don't trust anybody. Oh, well, if you don't trust me, why are we together? Ooh. And so it went into that. So when he said, I'd like to keep you in the wings and I'd like to keep talking to you just in case it doesn't work. It's like, wait a minute. That's the biggest ass double standard I've ever heard, because you had an issue with me talking to just men, my male friends. But now you want to keep me on the back burner just in case it doesn't work with old girl? Okay. And so my response was, I understand. But I need you to understand, this is the last time you will ever have any form of communication with me. I will not respond to your text messages, your calls, anything. And that's because I'm blocking you, literally blocking you from my phone, from my social media, from my life, because access to me is a privilege. And you have now compromised that privilege, and you have now disrespected that privilege. So therefore you no longer have it. And it was like this weird moment that it just kind of clicked with me. And then I really started thinking, like, looking back on every relationship I had had in the past. And that was like the running theme. Like, I was so ready to give people access to me for the sake of, oh, well, it's attention. It's somebody's paying attention to me. And I feel like I'm part of something, and I'm not like the third wheel on dates with my friends and their spouses or whatever. And it was just like, you know what? I'm going to date myself for a while. I'm going to date myself. I'm going to figure out who Korey Jenkins is. And maybe that Korey Jenkins will find her person. Maybe she won't. Maybe I'll give off rich auntie vibes until the day I die, which I can guarantee you my nieces will love. But it's just, I used to be of one. I remember I'd been engaged before, and about 3 months before I got married, my fiance decided to break my jaws, give me black eyes. Yeah, he beat me up pretty bad. And, but I remember I got engaged in large part because, well, I'm 25, I'm 26. I should be getting married. My life. Yeah, you should be married by now, because if you're not, what's wrong with you? And I had a grandmother, no disrespect to my grandmother or her memory. It was, well, are you going to get married before I die? So there was that push, to get married. You're not getting any younger. You got to get married. And I was a huge people pleaser in my 20s, even into my 30s. And it was just like, well, I'm supposed to get married. This is the time. So, okay, so let's get married. Well, then that didn't work, but I at least have to have somebody because that's what I attached my identity and my self-worth to. I
Mm.
wasn't anybody unless I had a person. And if people, and because heaven forbid somebody see me at a party by myself, it would be like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? She's such a scrub.
Serious.
She's a tool. Oh my God, what's wrong with her? She probably has a lot of drama. She probably does this. She probably does that. And I just didn't want the judgment. So a lot of relationships I got into was more so from my perspective to shut people up, to shut out whatever I perceived them to be thinking and or even saying about me. But retrospectively, I realized that that caused even more drama.
Yeah.
So it was just like when this person told me this, you know what, I'm just going to keep you on the back burner. Dude, fuck you on your back burner. I mean, no.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm not here to be on anyone's back burner.
I'm not anybody's back burner chick, dude. Like,
You're leading lady material, Korey.
I
Why would
mean,
you be in the background?
no one puts baby in the corner. You know, it's just it was just like, and I remember like when we were dating, there was a lot of insecurity on his part. And then there was like almost like this rush to, like, for lack of a better word, lock it down. Like, you know what, we should get married. What?
Hmm?
Well,
We're
yeah,
there now?
like I've known you for a stretch of time, yes, but that doesn't mean we have to get
Hmm.
married. Like, and at that time I was just like, I don't even know if I ever want to be married, you know? Like, because I always had friends that were married to me. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It's, oh my God, I envy you. You have the single life and you have this. And I would always hear, I love my husband, I love my children, but, and, you know, and I've watched tons of shows. I'm a huge fan of the show on, I think it was at one point in time on BET, but I binge watched it a couple of weeks ago on Hulu, called Black Love. And it's just African-American celebrities, everyday people, notables that are talking about their marriage. And it doesn't, you know, it just happened to be all African-Americans, but Viola Davis and her husband were on the show on one of the seasons, and she's like, you know, marriage isn't like, oh, this person's cool and they're really cool to hang out with. She's like, no, it's literally rolling over one morning looking at somebody like, I hate you, but I'm in it, I'm committed to it, but God, I hate you right now. I love you, but
Love you, but I hate you.
I really hate you. And you know, and it's, I dated a guy for a while that he would always tell me marriage is hard. And I used to think that, oh, he's just saying that because he doesn't really want to give it a try. And he had tried it before and it just didn't work for him. And, you know, me thinking, oh my God, I can change him. I'm every woman, you know, let me, you know, cue Whitney Houston. I'm gonna sing this anthem. I can do it. But the older I got, like, I literally have to thank him for saying that, because I think as women, we all get in our heads that everybody thinks marriage is the wedding. You know, I think I have a lot of girlfriends that think marriage is the wedding. Like, oh, I'm going to wear this beautiful dress and I'm going to have these beautiful flowers. And we're going to have this and we're going to have this and we're going to have this and we're going to be happily ever after. No, that's a 24-hour period of an as yet to be determined length of marriage, you know?
And really, it's even less than that.
Yeah. 12, 8, you know, whatever. And, you know, I remember when I was engaged, I remember my mom and my grandma, like, the level of exorbitancy. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it one for this
I like it.
it rolls. It, you know,
Yeah,
it's,
let's go with it.
you know, it's for, they were just like, the stuff was just exorbitant in terms of what they wanted. And I was just like, can I just go to Vegas? Because I care about the marriage. I don't care about the wedding.
The wedding.
I just wanted to be with this person. Thankfully, I was not. But when that happened with my ex that said, you know, I'm gonna keep you on the back burner, there was a shift in me where it was like, I don't need this. I don't want this. This doesn't define me. I'm perfectly okay by myself. I can take myself out on dates and there's no drama.
Few Miley Cyrus flowers right now, if I could.
There's no drama. There's no hateration, no toleration, there's none of that. You know, it's just me. Like, if I'm going to have a disagreement with the person I'm in a relationship, I'm literally staring at myself in the mirror, like having a conversation.
Yeah.
And in this time of intentional singularity, that sounded,
I like that.
That sounded very scholarly.
Let's promote more intentional singularity.
Intentional, because know yourself, you know?
Because I'm going through that phase too.
Yeah. Know yourself. Don't Because if there is somebody out there for me, and I do believe that there is, he may not live in this country. But if your person is out there, they are going to love, respect, and like you just the way you are. They're not going to put you on a back burner. They're going to realize that access to you is a legitimate privilege, and they are going to respect it as such. They are going to treat it as such. For somebody to tell me that this is what they're going to do with me with relationship to what they want, no.
Well, and how many, you thinking about that, how many women do you think tolerate that?
I'm going to venture to say that the one woman that he was just dating tolerates that, you know? And I think, I think that society,
like, I'll wait till you
like,
think
okay,
I'm the
okay,
one.
okay, please. Oh God, I hope they have an argument. Can I do anything to start an argument between them? Just for, and you have to tell yourself, if he's going to do that to her, he's going to do it to you, and it's embarrassing for me to admit that it took a minute to realize that, but at the same time, I realized it when I was supposed to,
Yeah.
And it was a sign that, you know what, Korey, it's time to focus on you. You just had something happen where, you really need to learn how to manage this brain thing. And I had no clue how that was going to roll out. And so retrospectively, I'm fine now. Well, I figure I've learned how to manage, my ADHD, but to think of bringing somebody in that when the roller coaster of my ADHD diagnosis and everything that came and went with it was such a roller coaster, that to put, even if it was somebody that wasn't going to put me on a back burner, wasn't going to keep me waiting in the wings, it would have been too much, And so now I'm just like, when I'm ready to date, if I'm ready to date, I'll go do that. I'll put myself out there. But until then, I am intentionally single because I've used this season of my life, I guess as people call it, to work on me, to date me, to figure out what sets my soul on fire, what I thrive at, what I don't thrive at, who I am, what my values are, what if my values have changed over the course of time, which they have. Yeah. And what type of person, when and if I ever am ready to go out into the dating pool, what that person looks like for me, who he is, what he stands for, what he does, how he lives his life. Yeah. How does he complement my life, and how do I complement his? What do we bring together? What do we bring to the table as individuals that we can create something together? And until I'm ready to do that, I'm just out here.
You're not just out there.
I'm out here.
You're taking care of you.
Yeah. And I wish more women did that,
Why do you think more women don't?
I think we live in a society of optics, and comparison is everything. So, you can get on Instagram and you can see, oh my God, they're together. Oh my God, they just got engaged. Oh my God, they're having a baby. Oh my God, they moved in together. And you have
feel really shitty about your own life.
Yeah, it's like, what am I doing? Wow, I'm gonna go get another Panda bowl from Panda Express and eat it alone with my cat. Not saying there's anything wrong with it.
It just sounds so sad.
It does, right? I'm gonna sit in the basement and play Xbox. I mean, it's like,
but it's not like that.
Yeah, but also you have to think that's just what people want you to see. You could be moving in together and have the absolute worst life with this person on the planet. You could be having a baby that maybe you didn't even really want. You could be in a relationship where you are treated like literal trash, but let's put it out there that we have this amazing life for the gram. So everybody, I'm doing this for the gram. Let's see how many likes, because maybe that'll make me feel rejuvenated and recharged about my relationship, and we can make it work.
Well, and how many times, I mean, because let's face it, we're all surfing the gram all the time.
Yeah.
Looking at what everyone else is doing. How many times do you see someone in particular and you see what they're putting out there?
And you're like, no, that's not it. Like, that's not it.
No, but okay.
But okay, I see you. Okay.
Well, and this is not to shame or judge them, but I think culturally, we're so conditioned to making things look as good as possible.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we do this in dating too, right? Like, I need to show my best face. I need to be the
Yeah.
best version of myself. I can't be fully who I am.
Yeah.
So,
But eventually it's like that facade that you've carefully cultivated,
mhm,
it's gonna fall, you know? It's
better
gonna,
earlier than later.
yeah. But why even have it? Just be like, you get on dating apps like Match and eHarmony, and and you hear stuff, you read stuff, and they tell you, well, these are the type of pictures you need to post, and post a candid shot of yourself, post a picture of you in a social setting, post a picture of this, and it's hilarious. Like when I was in an iffy season of dating, I think I was on every dating site known to man, even on Plenty of Fish. And single ladies, single people, if you know Plenty of Fish, the website, one of the guys that approached me, he was posing in front of a cinder block wall. I'll just leave it at that.
Hmm.
He was wearing khakis. He had learned how to crochet. He said he was a personal
Whoa.
trainer.
What? None of that tracks for me. None of that tracks for me at all.
I just remember looking at it, and I'm like, that's a cinder block wall. He's in khakis. And so I took a screenshot and
Oh
I sent it to one
no.
of my male friends, and one of my male friends that actually has an office in the co-working space that I used to be in. And I just remember walking in and he was like, "Hey dog, is that you?" "Yep." "Are you coming down the hallway?" "Yep." "Oh my God, he's in prison." And I'm just like, and I'm like, "Yep." And so we just started reading the bio, and I'm a trainer. Of course you are, because you spend 10 hours in the yard. It's just, but to a degree, and I'm going to be real with you on some level. Yeah, I have to consider the source of the dating site. It's Plenty of Fish. It's free, whatever. But his profile, he was, aside from the personal trainer, because you're not a personal trainer, but he literally said, "I'm just going to be real. I got like another 2 years, and I
Like,
can't even,
whoa.
I'm not playing around. I'm looking for a real relationship. I've made mistakes." But I was like, I kind of got to respect him because, well, one, the cinder block wall gave it away, in the prison khakis. But you didn't tell me that, you could have told me that was a Halloween party, you
You could
literally,
have,
yeah.
but he's being honest. He could be like looking for someone for a conjugal.
Love after lockup.
I mean, dating apps alone,
Oh, they're
isn't that a good enough reason to stay intentionally single?
so skeevy. Oh my gosh. I think the last guy I dated on a dating app, um, yeah, he ended up to be married,
Oh,
um, lived up in the Bay Area, came down here to Fresno because his mother lived in a town not too far from here. Um, Sidebar, no, I'll get to that in a second. We went on a date. Cool guy, super cool guy. Hung out, had drinks, had dinner, went up to a casino, hung out, played the slots, went to breakfast, had breakfast at the casino. Really cool dude. He's like, "Okay, cool. I'm coming down to see my mom next weekend. So, let's do dinner." And then so we would talk, we would text. And women, we know, women know something when something's off, when something's a little to the left,
trust
And
your
I remember,
spidey senses.
what's your spidey senses? Trust them. Go with your gut, ladies. Please go with your gut. And
Mm.
I just remember, like, we both liked Jeopardy. And so I made this comment that I'm like, "Dude, I'm killing it at Jeopardy." And he worked like a 4 a.m. shift. He worked in a grocery distributing warehouse. And so I would always get text messages from him early in the morning and like late, like, towards the middle of the afternoon. And I just remember in this one case, I made a comment about Jeopardy and he didn't respond. And and he had done it maybe one other time.
Mhm.
So I looked at the clock and I'm like, 7 o'clock. Different. And so it happened for a second time. And I remember, you should do a background check. Women, truthfinder.com,
Ooh.
single woman's best friend. Um, And I remember, but my brother and his best friend would probably also say, don't just do a background check, do a credit check. But
You want to know what his financial state's like.
My brother and his best friend, I remember my brother asked me once when he met a guy I dated. I'm like, yeah, he had me do a background check while we were FaceTime. He's like, okay, but did you do a credit check? And I'm like, no. He's like, that's where you need to go. That's a man telling you that. That's a 50-something-year-old man telling his younger sister, do a credit check. And my brother has never in his years of life steered me wrong ever. So I take heed to what my brother tells me. But I remember thinking that this guy, I'm like, that's really interesting. It's 7 o'clock and he just doesn't respond. So I kept thinking about it and kept thinking about it. So I did a background check. So he and his wife just bought a home. They like literally saw the mortgage, saw the deed, saw everything. And so I was pissed because I'm like, dude, this guy was really cool. He seemed to be good people. And so I remember I got the text, so then obviously, you see one thing, you go down the rabbit hole. Let me get on our Facebook. Let me see this. Let me see this. So I'm screenshotting and everything. So I get the text message the next day. Hey, good morning, sweetheart. I start sending screenshots. I'm like, hey, congrats on your new home. Home ownership is amazing. Never call me again. I may or may not have sent a housewarming gift. I don't know. But it's just, and I'm not saying, by no means am I saying that all men are bad. By no means am I saying that women don't do their own dirt too. But trust your gut. And I think I had been bamboozled or hoodwinked or put myself in so many spaces just for the sake of saying I had somebody while devaluing myself in the process, while compromising who I was or who I needed to learn who I was and just my own sense of self, and to realize that there is a lot of truth to, I can do bad by myself, Yeah. So I'm in this season of intentional singularity.
I love this phrasing. It's the first time. I think we should coin this.
Intentional
singularity. I think we need to start a movement.
Yeah.
I know some women that are already in it.
Yeah.
And I just got to throw out here right now as a disclaimer for any men that are listening to this right now and are like, oh my gosh, Korey, who is this Korey person? Like, I want to date Korey. Like,
worst nightmare.
Are you taking applications, resumes, credit checks? Because she's going to do her due diligence.
I think I told a male friend that, and they're like, you what? Yeah.
You're like, yep.
You don't?
Fresh out of Fox.
Just
gonna have to drop that at least once every episode because
I'm literally fresh out of Fox.
Yeah.
It's like, if whatever background check I'm going to do on you, do one on me, because I mean, I will be 48. Oh my God, I forgot how old I was going to be this year. Right. I was about to say 47. Like, wait, no, you're 47.
No, right. 29. You never get older, right?
I'm totally okay with admitting my age. I'm totally fine because I mean, I'm just gonna be real. I don't look it. Like when I tell people how old I am, they're like, what, really? Are you sure? Yeah, let me show you my driver's license. It says I was born in 75. I'm totally sure. But you get to a space, you get to your life where it's like, dude, I'm not getting any old. I'm not getting any younger. So seeing 50-something-year-old dudes in a nightclub trying to push up on 20-something, who are you? Like, what are you doing with your life? Where did your life path go wrong? But if that's what you want to do, cool. I'm not going to be that person, but just be honest, be authentic, be transparent. Like, please and thank you. I just no, and even men, dude, if you don't find your woman, if you're not finding your queen, your boo thing, your partner, your spouse, your whatever, be intentionally single. Because I've also learned when you actively seek something, you get the wrong stuff. You do, there is no time frame for when you need to be married, no time frame for when you need to be, as the kids say, booed up. There's no time frame for any of that. It's a really good song too, actually. It is a good song, really good live. Anyway, sidebar. But, just take your time, know who you are as much as you can before you bring somebody else into your world, and and don't just be in someone's.
Yeah, listen to that part again, ladies, because this
Just,
is what I tell people all the time too, especially my single friends who really want to be coupled,
yeah,
is like, be really sure of who you are.
yeah,
Because I can speak from experience, right? As someone who's is going through a divorce,
yeah.
that doesn't usually end well if you didn't do that work to know yourself. And that's, the downside of getting married young, unfortunately. You probably haven't done the
But
work.
that's not to say that, like I will say that the shining star I see in this whole thing, in all of relationship is my brother and my sister-in-law. My brother and sister-in-law have been married 31 years
Wow.
this next month. And my brother got married when he was 20, I want
Wow.
to say. Yeah. Um, and when I look at their marriage, like if I'm gonna get married, I want that. I mean, they are, you can literally tell they are each other's friend. They are friends first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and they move as a team. My brother and his wife, and my nieces, that family moves as a unit. They are linked, and so I look to I'm not going to go so far as to say hashtag relationship goals, because I'm going to venture to say that it's never always been apples and oranges and aces and daisies and all that stuff. But when I look at them, they have been around each other for over 31 years because they lived together before they got married, but they are goals, like she wholeheartedly, unequivocally, unabashedly supports and loves him, and vice versa for him. I remember at my brother's 50th birthday, you know she threw him like an epic party, just an amazing party for his 50th, and it got to like his birthday cake was brought out and everybody was toasting him. He flipped the switch. He goes, I don't, obviously you're here because I like you, um but he's like, I don't want you guys to toast me, I want you to toast my wife. He's like, I'm not an easy person to live with. And we're all like, yeah, we know. But he was like, she's put up with a lot. And he goes, and she loves me, she shows up every day, I show up every day. He's like, so if anybody's going to get the props, if anybody's going to get the acknowledgement, if anybody's going to get the love, you need to give it to Kim.
Oh.
And we're all like, oh my
Oh
god,
my God, I love him already.
and then at the end, so we all toasted my sister-in-law, but I'm just like, dude, that's it right there.
That's upstanding.
Yeah, but then at the end, it was like my nieces were like, "You didn't want to thank your kids," but I mean, but it was just for him, for somebody to be able to say like, "I am not an easy person to live with," and she is consistently here. She always shows up. She always has my back. She loves me unconditionally. I need you to toast her. You know,
take notes, gentlemen.
Yeah, he's it was just like, wow, that moment was totally for you, but you unselfishly gave it to your wife, you know so it's like, if I'm ever going to have that, if I'm ever wanting to be in a long-term relationship, be it marriage or whatever, that's what I want, but I'm not going to force it, nor am I going to compromise who I am or what I want in this life to just for the sake of saying that there's a warm body next to me. Mm-mm.
Not willing to make that sacrifice.
No. And anybody that's asking you to compromise that's not your person.
Compromise is huge, right? And then, I feel like older generations, that was just the way it was. And that was the message that was reinforced to me, even is like, marriage or any relationship is all about compromise.
Yeah.
You have to compromise. Compromise is great. Would you agree? Like I think it's a tool you need to have in your tool belt in any relationship.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what happens when it's at the cost of compromising yourself?
That's when it gets kind of sticky, and I think that if you keep doing it for so long, resentment's going to build up. Compromise. And I think sometimes people confuse compromise with sacrifice and sacrifice with compromise.
Right.
Like, I sacrificed this for you, but to the other person it'd be like, no, we compromised. those words, I think that there's a little room for, misunderstanding and misinterpretation on those things. Be very clear on what you're doing. Be very clear on what you're compromising. Be very clear on what you're sacrificing, and make sure that the other person knows as well. you know I agree, it's something that you definitely need to have in your toolbox, not in just relationships, like, love, personal, like marriage, boyfriend, girlfriend, partner to partner, spouse to spouse relationships. You just need to have the art of compromising in your toolbox for life.
Yeah.
Just for living in this world. But again, don't confuse it with sacrifice, because I think sometimes what one person views as compromise, another person can view as sacrifice. And that's where resentment and anger and frustration and really unnecessary things are said and done.
Yeah. I mean, I can speak from personal experience of going through those types of conversations of where was a compromise made and where did I feel like a sacrifice was, and did we use the right semantics even then, or do we even use the words? Because now I'm thinking like, you should probably be clear even in these moments.
Mm-hmm.
Use the language. Like, are we making a compromise here, or like you feeling like you're making a sacrifice?
One of us sacrificing something for
Yeah.
for something you want to do.
And it's
know?
like, and thinking, I don't want to resent you later.
Yeah, like I don't want to roll over one day and be like what Viola Davis, like, I hate you, I love you, but I really hate you right now. Why do I hate you? Because you made me sacrifice this.
Yeah.
Or I sacrificed this for you. It was presented to me as a compromise, but I actually sacrificed it. You know?
Well, let's go down this path a little bit
Okay.
before we wrap this probably first part of 2.
Yeah.
We're gonna go deeper. But
Yeah.
I'm feeling like, let's talk about this concept, because I think it's really prevalent with women, this feeling of like that we sacrifice a lot, especially in male female relationships. Like we feel like we're kind of the sacrificial lambs a lot of the time. Like we have to be working and be the parent if we have children and do all the things. We have to make all the sacrifices. And we feel unappreciated a lot of the time, right? Cultural conditioning. I keep going back to this idea of like, we have this cultural conditioning. How do we start to break it apart?
I honestly feel like that's like one of the mysteries of the world. Like, how do you break that up? Because society teaches women, you are the backbone of the family. You are the one that the child is going to ask, that your kids are going to ask for first when they fall and scrape their leg, when somebody bullies them at school, when something happens. You are the point of contact for most family gatherings, and you do all the things. But then what's it at the risk of, and where does your spouse come in to pick up the slack? I don't know if that's something, I think because we have been conditioned to be like that for so long, it's like, I don't even know that we know where to even think about where to start. I mean, I remember seeing, so I read Michelle Obama's latest book, The Light That We Carry. And then my cousin and I, one of our bucket list things was to actually go see her on her The Light That We Carry book tour. So we went to the LA show, and she's very open about what she talks about her experiences in the book. And she says, I sacrificed a good chunk of my life for Barack, and I could be misquoting, but I mean, that's the general idea. But she also says, but had I not, I mean, she's purely okay with the sacrifice. She's very aware, eyes are wide open, in that she did not compromise. She sacrificed. But she goes, if I hadn't, he would have never been president. We would have never had all these great things happen. But she also says that that'll never happen again. Like, she's not willing to sacrifice it ever again. Like, okay, we've been there, done that, 8 years. We're good.
My turn.
Yeah, it's like, it's about me now. And I mean, my cousin and I were so convinced that Barack was going to pop up. Like, we had a plan. Like, okay, if I faint, grab my phone so you can keep taking pictures. But I realized, like, driving back home from LA after that event, he could have very easily been there, but it's her turn. He was there to support. He didn't come, because I mean, honestly, we all know that everybody would have lost their minds if that man walked on stage,
He would have taken her light though.
He would have taken away her light. And this was about her, becoming, I got it. Okay, yeah, he's gonna pop up because it's her first book, and it's just fresh off a presidency, but that was her time to shine. He had been in the spotlight, and still to a degree even is, for at least 10, 12 years, while she's not, or not on the same level. And she did some great stuff too. So it's her time to shine. But I don't know if there's ever a conversation that women could sit down and have and be like, okay, well, how do we, or that just society in whole has, like, how do we fix this? How do we fix the definition of a compromise? How do we make distinct differences between compromise and sacrifice, and what that means? Because I think the words have been devalued over the course of time. Oh, well, we'll just sacrifice this. It's fine. Not just with marriage, but in finances, in job commitments, jobs that you're going for, jobs that that you are contemplating leaving. It's the words are just, they're kind of married together for no reason.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, I remember as I was contemplating all the reasons I was going to be leaving my marriage, a lot of these themes came up. It was like, oh, where have I compromised myself in particular?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's a whole other topic of like how we self-abandon in relationships, especially as women, because we need to be what we think our partner needs us to be.
Yeah.
Why are we so good at that?
Yeah. It's like, but even in that, I think that sometimes we as women, we assume that we're being what they need us to be, as opposed to asking.
Yeah.
What do you need? How can I help you? It's like what I say to people now, just in help in general. How can I support? How can I serve? How can I will serve where you need me to serve, but where is that? You just got to tell me where it is. I can't assume that, but I think sometimes women take it on because we take on everything else. So I'm going to be what my husband needs. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to figure it out. Okay, well, ask him, and vice versa,
Yeah. I mean, relationships are a two-way street, right?
Absolutely.
And I think this perfectly exemplifies what we talk about a lot just in general with any relationships, is this idea of reciprocity.
Yeah.
Even like above all else, like every relationship is a give and a take. And I love this intentional singularity is like this ode to yourself, and like almost giving back to yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're giving yourself what other people couldn't give you, and you're acknowledging like, I need this space for me.
Yeah.
I've been giving.
And they couldn't give it to me for whatever reason. Maybe I didn't communicate it. Maybe my actions didn't match what I was saying, and vice versa. Or maybe they thought they were, but I didn't see it as enough for what I was intentionally looking for. But also to that, maybe I didn't even know what I was looking for, because I didn't truly know who I was. You can't find your identity in another person. And I think for a long, long time in being in dating, it was, you know what, they like that, I'm going to like that too. There's my identity, and I think a lot of times women do that just for the sake of being accepted and having,
not rocking the boat.
Yeah. I mean, I can remember girls, women that I've been friends with for years, like, oh, well, I'm going to go to this because he likes it. Okay, but do you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if I don't go, what? He'll get mad? He'll break up with you? Maybe that's not your person. Does he go to stuff for you? It's a compromise. It's not a sacrifice. It's a compromise.
Yep.
I remember I was talking to a guy latter part of the summer, like maybe before this whole thing happened with my ex. And I'm like, I always ask this one question: would you go to the ballet with me? Would you go to a museum? Yeah, I don't know about that. Okay, because I just said I'd go to a monster truck rally with you. But okay.
You won't go to the ballet.
You're not going to go to the ballet. You're not going to go to the symphony. You're not going to at least go walk around the Getty with me, because the Getty's legit. I love the Getty, but you're not willing to do that. Okay.
Tells you a lot.
Yeah, it does. If you really sit back and just not just men in general, not just relationships, but if you sit back and you have a conversation with somebody, they're literally telling you who they are. You just got to listen. You just got to pick up the cues, And I think we live in such an instant gratification, fast-paced world that we never stop to slow down and comprehend. I had a friend tell me once, people listen just so they can respond, but you could be talking about one thing and you could be talking about intentional singularity. I'm gonna be like, wow, you know what? Roscoe's chicken and waffle sounds really good right now because you're done talking. So I'm still going to push forward and say whatever I wanted to say because I'm more important. And I think that just in general, we've gotten to that space and it's really, really sad.
The art of listening is being
such an endangered
lost.
It's such an endangered species.
Yeah. So I think kind of what you've been saying and what you've been doing is learning to listen to yourself and honor yourself more, because who's going to do it for you?
If you can't honor yourself, first of all, you should never put that sole responsibility on somebody else, but if you can't do it, when you honor yourself, you're literally showing another person how to honor you.
And what you need.
Yeah. Your actions are telling a person, oh, this is what she does. Okay. All right, cool. So she does this. She won't tolerate that. She doesn't tolerate this. You're literally telling somebody, this is who I am. This is what's required to be around me, and it's not being a bitch about it. It's not being pushy. It's not being diva-like. Just like, if you really think about it, a man does the exact same thing. It's just when a woman does it, it's, oh God, she's so demanding. She's such a diva.
Or high maintenance.
Oh my God, she's so high maintenance because I asked you to open a door for me. Oh, okay.
Well, and that's the thing, fellas, or anyone who likes to use the high maintenance thing. Oh, she's too high maintenance. She's too high maintenance. I was like, you know what? No one is no maintenance.
I remember the same ex asked me once, why do you date me? Why do you need me? Oh my God, I don't need you. There's a difference. There's a difference between me needing you and me wanting you. You always want to be in the space of me wanting you to be around. Yeah. I don't need you. And he's like, but you're not like, I don't need to pay any of your bills. Whoa. No, you don't need me to. Look, I have a job. You don't. Well, what about like changing the oil in your car?
He's living his own cultural conditioning.
Yeah.
Where the man is the provider for the woman.
Yeah. Like, you don't need me to change the oil in your car? No, I have a mechanic.
Yeah.
Well,
what do you need me for?
What do you need me for? I don't. I want your company. I want your presence around me.
Why is that such a difficult concept?
Yeah, because he looked at me like I had a third nipple in my forehead. Like,
like what?
Like, what? Like, wow. I've never really had that before.
And it's like this crazy paradox almost, right? Because, and I think this is where it's tricky between men and women, because men, so much from what I can tell, have this desire to be needed.
Yeah, they have to have the cape.
And we have the desire to be wanted. It's like the flip. So then it's like we're speaking different languages. Yeah. And we're not even telling each other, this is what I need, or this is what I want.
It's literally men are from Venus, men are from Mars, and women are from Venus, or whatever that book was that John Gray wrote for. What was that?
We don't speak the same language.
We don't. It's like, oh, well, I need to be needed, and she wants to be wanted. I know what she wants. I know what he needs. So we're not going to talk about it.
But we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about it. It's just.
Which is madness.
Yeah.
So if you're going to date someone, let's say you decide not to be intentionally single.
Okay.
Are we talking about our wants and needs pretty early on in these relationships?
I'm way closer to getting my AARP card than I am to my driver's license. So yeah, it's just like, this is because I don't think I casually date anymore. If I'm dating with a purpose. Like, because if I'm literally taking time out of my incredibly busy schedule to spend time with you, it's not just, oh yeah, that was a cool date. Okay, maybe we'll do it again. No, there's some meat behind that. There's some roots with that. There's some potential for some roots to be laid and grown. Yeah. And it's not like, let me pull out a notebook and be like, okay, I need this. It's not
Here's
like
my
that.
list of
It's
demands.
not like just watch the paper, like, roll on down to the ground. It's not that.
I need you to sign with blood at the bottom.
It's like, okay, here, I have a little prick thing that you can, now we're going to rub our fingers together with our blood. Oh, yay, we're together. No, it's not that. It's those conversations are going to happen earlier as opposed to later, like when I was in my younger days.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it's like, dude, I'm not trying to wait. I don't want my time wasted. I don't want to waste yours. So if we're not in alignment, or if what I'm saying doesn't jive with what you're thinking, or much even worse, if you can't even have the conversation with me, if you like bitch up and don't have that conversation, that's a no for me, dog. We're done. No hard feelings. No, it's just, we just don't match, you know? Like, I went on a date during COVID with this gentleman, love to drop names. And I guess he just automatically figured, didn't let me order first, tried to order for me. And in my head, I'm like, I have a voice, I don't know who told you that was chivalrous, but they lied to you. And just like constantly talked about himself the whole time. Like, I could tell you everything this dude did in his entire career in the chosen industry he was in. He could probably not tell you a thing about me. But he thought that was a good date. And then I got like the text messages like, what size shoe do you wear? I'm going to buy you a pair of Crocs. I'm like, oh, that's your thing. You just buy women. And I literally texted back. I'm like, I'm not that woman. I don't think I'm what you're looking for. In fact, I pretty much know that I am not what you're looking for. And I very much know that you are not what I'm looking for. So I wish you well.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes you got to call it.
Yeah. And it was just like, and then like a few months later, a friend of mine said, oh my God, I have this great guy I want you to meet. He's really cool. And it was the same person. Like, I'm like, what's this person's name? It was the same person. I'm like, no, let me tell you why. And they're like, well, he has a really cool personality and you have a really cool personality. Didn't mix. Just because we have really cool personalities does not a relationship make.
Yeah.
His values, his personality, his way of how he looks at things, his level of degradation and disrespect to women. I'm good.
Feel like we're giving a really good masterclass for men right now.
I literally feel like that.
They're getting all of the nuggets too of
They're getting like insider secrets,
yeah, for dating women.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking of this concept that I've heard floated in a number of spaces where if you want to be interesting, be interested.
Interested men act interested.
They don't talk about themselves. Like they're curious. They're interested in the person they're trying to date.
Yeah. I want to know about you. I want to know what you do for a living. I want to know.
And vice versa. I think men like the same thing we do in that respect of like, be interested.
Tell
Ask
me
me
about
questions. Yeah.
Tell me about how did you feel? How did you get into that field? That's really cool. I don't know a lot about it, but if you want to share it with me, I'd love to hear it. How hard is that? But the funny thing is, we do that when we network, professionally speaking. We do it all the time. Professional networking is professional dating, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So why can't you carry that over into your personal life?
Because does it feel so much more high stakes?
I think so, because feelings could potentially be involved. At least if you're professionally networking, you're on a golf course, you're closing a deal, you're doing whatever, you know what's expected of you. You know how to handle it. There's very little feeling in it. Yeah. But I think that when you're in a social scene with the potential of it becoming romantic, then it's like, oh, feelings. Oh, gross. Yeah, I gotta talk about my feelings. I gotta.
Well, I gotta be vulnerable.
It's like, oh my God, I have to be authentic. Oh my God, I can't schmooze it.
Well, and then you're thinking, oh, well, if they really knew everything about me, would they really
still be sitting here?
Well, and it's like, I've had this conversation with my mom around dating because, again, she's kind of being intentionally single right now, too. And I'm like, that's a beautiful space for you to be in because legit, my mom has not been single like her entire life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's like, do you even know what it's like to be single?
Yeah.
I was like, take a beat, enjoy it, get to know yourself again. It's like a beautiful time. All the things Korey's saying. Like,
go on a date.
Yeah. Learn how to honor yourself, date yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing how stuck we can get in these patterns of how we've been. And I love that you're like taking this pause to just be like, I'm pretty cool.
Mhm.
I want to date me,
I'd date me.
but it's going to take a lot to entertain me dating someone other than myself right now.
Yeah. Like I ended up telling my friend Nicole that I'm like, look, I said, by no means when I say this, am I trying to like toot my own horn? I'm super busy. Um, between hanging out with my people, like my core group of girlfriends, um, spending time with my family, um, working on business projects, my coaching stuff that you and I have going on, stuff that I have going on with other people, and then literally taking time for me. It's like I am in a space of pure selfishness. Is there somebody that could take me out of that space? Absolutely. You have to be a hell of a guy. And I'm not saying that he's a unicorn. I'm not saying he's an urban legend or whatever you want to call it, but shoot your
Come on,
shot.
Korey. You're a unicorn. You will only attract unicorn energy.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, a guy with a horn in the center of his forehead. Come on now, that's a little different. It's really weird. I mean, sounds
No,
like he'd be out
I
of some
think
Game of
this
Thrones.
is a perfect break point because
It
I think
is.
where I want to go next time with you is talking about this idea of diving deeper into honoring yourself and upholding
Yeah.
these boundaries,
Yeah.
and what that actually looks like in practice.
You gotta love yourself wholeheartedly and unabashedly and bigger than anybody ever could. So yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
Okay. We'll go there next time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.